This week on the Big Eyes podcast, emotions run high as we look at the latest chapters of Demon Slayer, The Promised Neverland, and Zipman. All this only on the Big Eyes podcast. Welcome to this week's episode of the Big Eyes podcast. I am your host as always, LJ. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh man, what an emotional week in manga, and not even just the chapters I'm talking about today, just in general, just a lot of things going on in different stories that are, that were just tugging at the heartstrings. But I mean, the bigger thing is that a few big mangas are coming to an end. Demon Slayer, obviously, The Promised Neverland is looking like it's about to start wrapping things up. Even in My Hero Academia, it seems that there's a lingering of things are about to, they're getting close to the end, like more so this is the beginning of the end for them. But I mean, maybe not. These guys got a whole second year to go through, and I don't see them ending at these kids' first year. But man, just a lot of things going on. It was an exciting week. It was actually really hard to choose kind of chapters I wanted to talk about because I wanted to talk about them all. But you know what? Just let me cut the long talking. Man, let's get straight into it for this week. To be honest, I wasn't gonna originally talk about Demon Slayer this week. We've been pump fake before when it comes to the death of Tanjiro, and with the last time we thought he was dead, it was really just him having a flashback for like 5 chapters. But this week, too many emotions. I mean, it was. I think what's funny is that even though that Tanjiro is pronounced dead, it really isn't even I feel the biggest thing that has happened in this chapter. And when you read this chapter, a lot of people die. Like, that's off rip. A lot of people die. A lot of people that we didn't think was going to die, they died. And it kind of gets darker. Each death just gets darker and darker as they go on. But first, in the beginning of the chapter, we get this beautiful kind of farewell for Hanjima, who was the stone pillar. And this moment was it was very touching. You see him with the kids, and they're all kind of just welcome him back, and he gets this leader farewell. I don't think it was really mentioned in here that he was the leader of the pillars, but he just had that that stature to him, especially when you just read the story, you just see how his demeanor was. He had that demeanor of he was the leader and the teacher and the eldest one of the group. So how he kind of goes away with all the kids giving him a hug, all the kids loving on him, it felt very fitting for him, especially because he was he was that person to all the other pillars, or it seemed that he was that person to all the other pillars. So we start off with this beautiful death in a sense, or this go away for him, and then immediately we move on to Kanjuro and Iguro, who has had a very complicated relationship in this story. I mean, I wouldn't say complicated, but it was definitely that tug and pull of they like each other, but they really they don't say anything. Kanroji, she was all over the place with who she loved and who she wanted to be with. But them, that moment between them was something that was hinted at before, when Iguro was talking about her and how much he loves her, when we started to figure out his backstory and the reasoning why he is the way he is. But to see him this moment of those two holding each other, and seeing Iguro say, like, you made me feel normal when I felt that I was just so different from everybody else. And Kanroji is just what she meant to the whole group. And I think that's one thing that I enjoyed about this chapter, is that you see the growth of all these characters. You come to an end and come full circle. You see what they meant bigger picture wise to each other and how it just ties into their personality. It was dope to see all these things. And the end this beautiful moment of them just saying like, listen, we come back in the afterlife, like, let's get married, let's throw this whole other life away, let's just be with each other. And after that, that's when you get the darkest moment, and to be honest, my favorite moment of this whole chapter was Shinagawa. I'm butchering his name, so sorry, but you think that he is going to the afterlife, and reminder that he's the wind pillar, he's the one that is, he was the mean one in the group. You know what I'm saying? He was the one that, when we first get introduced to him, he's the one that's stabbing Nezuko. He's the one that's, breaking Tanjiro down. He's the one that, he, disowned his little brother. And as you see this, I talked about him in one of the first episodes when I first started talking about Demon Slayer, where he had to kind of redeem himself after losing his little brother Genya. But, you see him in the moment of the afterlife where he's looking at his brother, and he's looking at him playing with all their other little siblings, and he's like, where's mom, and where's mom at? His mom appears and she said, hey, I can't go with everyone else. I was such this horrible mom. I was such, I let all these horrible things happen to you guys. I'm not deserving to go to heaven. And he goes, you know what, mom, if you can't go to heaven, then I'll carry you to hell with me. And he's like, Genya will be so sad, so sad to see us, that we were here so early. He doesn't want to see us. And then in just a dark turn, but it was this dark turn of, his dad appears. His dad separates their hands, and he's like, your mother's coming with me. He's screaming at his dad, like, pretty much like, F you. His dad says, you're going to stay alive. You're not allowed to die yet. And that just really ties into this kind of torment that he has about himself of, he feels so bad for not being able to protect his brothers and sisters from his dad. He feels so bad about, not being able to protect his family from the demons. He feels all these things and all this guilt, and it seemed that he was finally able to move on from all the guilt, all the pain, all the shame that he holds in, and he just doesn't even get that moment that he still has to be alive. And what a way to kind of write his story, to think that he's finally going to get this fairy tale ending, and you see everyone else getting this quote unquote fairy tale ending of, Hiro gets the girl, Janeway gets, his kids back. He looks like this huge leader, but he's not able to get that moment. And really, that was kind of my favorite part of all of this, of how they wrote that moment right there, because it kind of captures everything that Demon Slayer has been capturing about, like, sometimes the heroes don't win fully. There's still repercussions and still things that happen with everything. But and after that, you see, you see the other guys coming. But the big moment is when Giyu sees Tanjiro, and Tanjiro has no arm. He has no arm. He has half of a face. He's dead. There's no pulse. And Giyu just starts crying, and he's just like, I couldn't protect you. I couldn't be there for you. Nezuko is running. The chapter ends with Giyu apologizing, saying, I'm so sorry that I couldn't make sure that you were alive. He feels responsible for this. He feels that he's the one that threw Tanjiro into all of this. So he's holding this moment. You see Nezuko running. It's the first time we see her as a full human after, her transformation back to one, and she's running, and she has to see her brother, presumably dead. And this is how this chapter ends. But No, we don't know. Last time we thought Tanjiro was dead, they announced him dead. He came back alive and had all these different breathing techniques. So, we don't know if this is the true end for him or what's gonna come next. But overall, man, this chapter, I mean, it was buzzing. I see, like, this is what everyone was talking about. This is what everyone was tweeting about. This, especially when this leaked. I'm kind of mad because when I read it when it did leak out, and I hate that they kind of took away some of the vulgar language that was used, but that's just me. But what a great chapter, what a great conclusion is kind of drawing to. I mean, it's heart-wrenching. It's like, holy crap, they kill the main character at the end, for the second time. But once again, Demon Slayer is coming through with this beautiful ending, and we will see what will happen next with it. I've really enjoyed the development that's been happening in these last couple chapters of Zipman. Most importantly is with Kenshiro, who was under a mind control, and right now he is breaking out of it. While he's fighting his brother Kaname, and while he's breaking out of this mind control, we get a glimpse into his past and kind of a glimpse to see what really kind of drew this wedge between him and his brother. There's this competition between them over China. But when you read these chapters, you start to see that it was more than just this competition of this girl. Even though Kenshiro is this tech genius, he's this like, once again, this Elon Musk type character where he's young but he is very successful, and he has all these accomplishments. He admits that the biggest thing that Kaname has over him is that he never gave up on his dream to be a hero. And while they've been working together as Zipman, that how much joy he has had working with his brother, because it seems that he has not given up on his dream yet. So while we're looking at this development, you start to just see their relationship change. You get much deeper into it of what it means to them to be this. And he even admits to his brother, like, we keep thinking that our paths went the same way, but really in reality, I had to separate myself from you because I wanted to win my own way. I wanted to do it, but I know that I couldn't do it at the level of you were, because you just didn't give up. You had this perseverance. So but while it's looking like he is about to sacrifice his life or to say, well, Kaname comes, he grabs him, he's helping him out. He's like, no, like, we're gonna do this together. Like, there's no way you're gonna leave me to do this by myself. I need you to come back. I need you to do this with me, because you're my brother. This is no fun if I cannot do it without you. And we just get this this great brotherly love moment between them, and it just adds so much more depth to them as characters, and just gives you a little bit something more to to grasp on to them, to like more about them. And that's just what one thing that they did just super just well. Once again, we're in chapter 16, and we're starting to just get deeper and deeper into these characters, which is really fun and cool to see happen. But at the end, the art at the end is really another big selling point. You see them in their suits, you see them about to fight the chairman, who has now grown into this huge monster. But these, like, the last few panels are just super dope, and it has this funny moment of them two talking about, like, hey, look, we're never going to speak of this kind of emotional moment we've had, together again. So you better, that stays between us. But, what a, great chapter, and it's continuing to grow. It feels weird that they're fighting the chairman so early. So I wonder where this is going to go with all this. But overall, what a great chapter in terms of just getting to connect more with the characters, but also just they stunned on the art this week. Like, they went crazy with it. So if you were wanting to check it out, remember, it's Zipman chapter 16, still fresh, still new. But yeah, check it out. Man, Promised Neverland is never gonna end. It's never gonna end. I keep thinking that it is. I keep saying that it is. It's never gonna end. But one thing, man, that they just do so well is they do write a very compelling story, especially when it comes to the characters. And this week's chapter of Peter Rattray, and we seeing his past. We're seeing what, the confliction between him. So, before this, they have him at gunpoint. Peter thinks that it's over. He's done lost the families. He's done lost his army. Emma has, the blicky pointed at him. It's just, he thinks that it's over. And Emma says, listen, I've been suffering. You've been suffering. I don't forgive you. I never probably will forgive you. But at the end of the day, I want us to go to this new world together. Like, just come with us. And Peter has he's stuck. He's like, no, I'm a prisoner. Like, I have these things. And you look, at his past. You look at his brother, and there's a moment where he finds out that his whole clan has been lying this whole time. The whole Rattray clan has been lying his whole time from the very beginning. And to think that his brother is pretty much like, no, I'm gonna go against our clan. I'm gonna go against everything that's going on right now. And Peter has this, as a young boy, he has as a confliction, as a young kid of, do you side with your older brother, who obviously you are looking up to, who is the current leader of this clan, or do you stay true to what the clan what the clan wanted? And overall, he chooses to choose his clan over the brother. So he chooses the family over the individual. And with that, he even kills him, or sets him up to get killed, his own brother. And he just thinks that, he's delusional. Like, I will carry on this promise for us. Like, don't you worry. But at the end, it gets pretty warped. It gets pretty dark. But he is, you see this just internal turmoil that he is going through of, did I actually do the right thing? Maybe I should have gone with my brother. Maybe I should have, not gone with my clan. Like, what does this mean? What does all of this, ending mean? And with that, he looks at Emma and he's like, you know what? You keep thinking that I'm suffering. You keep thinking that this is suffering. You keep thinking that this, going to this new world is going to make things, make everything right and make everything, happen. All your dreams happen. But in reality, you don't understand that humans have been doing the same thing, that the demons are actually doing. And even though, yes, they don't eat humans, but they entrap, they imprison, they hunt, they kill, they do all these things. And he's saying, like, demons are these worlds are a mirror of each other. The demons are just a mirror of what humans are, and just because they may go about it in a different way, it does not mean that you going into this next world is going to, you going into the human world, this is going to change anything, and this is going to make anything better. It's not going to make your pain and suffering change automatically. And at the end, you see him, tell her, like, hey, pass something on to my uncle and tell him cold salad. And this ends very dark, very grim, where he ends up taking a knife and killing himself, which, The Promised Neverland is a dark, it gets pretty dark in this manga in general, but I have not seen something this wild in a minute. But him killing himself. But once again, although this seems that it's opening another door for this manga to go on much longer and to see what's gonna happen in the human world when they actually get there, this story of conflict that has just been going throughout. It's not even just him that you see this with. You even seen it with Norman when they when he gets reconnected with the group and he's talking about we need to kill the demons, we need to do this, we need to do that, and Emma's like, whoa, like, where is this all coming from? there's a lot of internal conflict that goes on with these characters, and they highlight these moments at like the perfect time, or they highlight them in just moments that just make the story so much better, of just seeing these characters go through so much internally. But this week it was all focused on Peter, and I think that you know what? I feel that's a very solid end for him. Unlike Demon Slayer, where it's like, okay, he can't escape it. He can't escape this pain and guilt that he's feeling. Peter, in the sense of, he does the opposite of, well, okay, I'll just take it then. Death is really my only option here to kind of end everything that has been going on inside of me. So let me just take it into this moment. And no, it's just the scene of him doing it, Emma trying to stop it. All the kids are just kind of like, whoa, what is going on? This is like the last thing the kids really wanted to see happen. Emma even said, like, listen, I don't want no more death. I don't want no one else dying. And for Peter to be like, no, what, skip it, I'm gonna take my own life then. That's kind of does Emma feel that she kind of lost this battle now of trying to save the human lives and trying to make a better world? What does that feel like for her? But just a great story. I don't know where they go from this. Obviously, the real world and the human world is what's coming up next, but do they continue to dive deeper into the story of what the human world looks like? What does this mean for them? Or do they stop it here? And do they get into the real world and we have to draw our own conclusions? They kind of, they're at a fork in the road, I feel, with this. I just feel that it's weird because they have continuously talked about this being the final arc, this being the final whatever, but they keep opening up doors for this thing to go on longer. At first I was fully against it. I'm just like, no, just end it, because like I said, what if we dive into this real world thing and they try to make it bigger than what it is, or make it more complicated, and it can go left or it can go really well. So, but overall, man, what a great chapter 173 of this week of The Promised Neverland. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Big Eyes Podcast. And if you want more anime, more manga content, please follow us at The Lookout RNC. If you're a fan of podcasts and you just want to listen to more podcasts, follow us at our main page at RNC Radio Live. There's so much, we got so much going on. So many things happening. If you're still following the Straw Hat Challenge, which is me reading all of One Piece, you will see, you can catch up on that. We have a beautiful thread that's going on with that, and you can just stay up to date. You can read it with me. But, thank you guys again tuning in. Stay plus ultra. Peace.